History is not me. History. शुभ्रादी 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 विनायक विनायक रामकृष्णन शुभ्रा दीदी नाम क्या था विनायक अच्छा अच्छा रामकृष्ण विनायक रामकृष्ण ओके विनायक रामकृष्ण ओके अरे यार ये भी विनायक विनायक रामकृष्ण
Yes, sir. Welcome at Sampan Roshina.
History is not vote of thanks and introduction. History is not a very warm welcome to the respected resource person, Sir Dr. Basanta Kumar Mallik.The, former CPGC, HOD of the Department of History at University, Dr. Santosh Kumar Biswal, co-leader. This one. History is not merely a record of the past. It is a dialogue between the past and the present. A very warm good morning to the respected resource person of the day, Professor Dr. Basanta Kumar Mallik, sir, former CPGC and HOD of the Department of History, Utkal University, Dr. Santosh Kumar Biswal, sir, Coordinator, Department of History, Rama Devi Women's University, in his absentia, Dr. Vinayak Ramakrishnan, sir, HOD of the Department of Statistics, honorable faculty members, and my dear rest of friends. I, Swati Sudha Barik, feel immensely honored and privileged to stand before you as the anchor of this academic gathering. I warmly welcome you all to today's seminar on the intellectually enriching topic, Understanding History and its Methods. History is often misunderstood as a simple narration of events, but it is in fact a dynamic and an analytical discipline. It is not merely confined to dates and facts alone, but extends to interpretation, analysis, and critical evaluation of evidence. To understand history, truly, one must go beyond memorization and engage in questioning, reasoning, and interpretation. Historians merely describe the past, they reconstruct it through careful examination of sources such as inscriptions, manuscripts, oral traditions, and archaeological findings. The methods of history enables us to differentiate between fact and fiction, reality and myth, and interpretation and bias. They guide us in developing a deeper, more meaningful understanding of the past. So, through today's seminar, we aim to explore not only what history tells us, but how it tells us, the processes, approaches, and methodologies that shape historical knowledge. Light has always been regarded as a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. It removes the darkness of ignorance and leads us towards truth. With this thought, I would now request our esteemed resource person, Professor Basanta Kumar Mallik, along with our respected faculty members, to kindly come forward for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. I request everyone to please stand up. Thank you. Thank you. May this light illuminate our minds with knowledge and wisdom. Everyone is now requested to please be seated, and thank you so much for the coordination from your end. Welcome address, Jitu sir. Thank you so much. To formally begin this program, I would now like to invite over Dr. Jitendra Sona sir, respected faculty member of the Department of History, to deliver the welcome address. I request you, sir, to kindly come and forward and address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, Swati. She has already mentioned most of the things that I was supposed to say, but it's all right. So history is present and past. There is a continuous dialogue between present and past. But now today we are gathered here to understand history and its method. It's a very important topic for the day, and especially when history has become one of the contested category in contemporary public and political lives of India, as you have seen and all. So now But before going to that, respected Vice Chancellor and coordinator of the department, and esteemed guest, Professor Basanta Mallik sir, and senior faculty member Dr. Ganeshwar Naik sir, and my dear colleagues, and also we have with us Dr. Vinayak sir, who is from the Department of Statistics, and thanks to him we have now this room for us. That was very difficult in this place. It's very difficult to find a place for us to sit and discuss things. Especially history department is here is very secondary. I mean we don't have a family here. So but nonetheless, so history is a present. R.G. Collingwood mentioned in his book The Idea of History. In Idea of History, he said that history is very much present. I mean, it's not necessarily it's about past, but it's about present. And why it is present? Because we only study things which is available to us, fact which is available to us, and hence it is about the question of present. And also in another sense, history is present because we study history only because we try to understand certain aspect of our lives, not their lives per se. We do not study history for the sake of history as such. We study history for ourselves. We try to understand certain phenomena, certain socio-political lives and socio-political condition of the people and the problem of the people. Hence, we try to understand history. And historical method become much more pertinent when everyone is becoming the leader or the master or the guide of history. Historical method become important when history left outside department or outside school per se. So now we'll try to understand different methodological aspect of history, and we have one of the esteemed guest member with us. So let us try to understand different aspect, different element of history. But history is so vast that E.H. Carr said that history is like ocean. And you have to choose which part you wish to understand, which part you wish to understand. And historian like fisherman. No, you are a fisherman, you are going to fish. And but the field is very vast. So now we will try to understand different aspect of it, different nuances of it. So now I would like to invite Professor Basanta Mallik sir. Introduce. Okay. Sir. So now I would invite Shivani madam to introduce Professor Basanta Mallik.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning to all of you. Respected all chairperson on the dais and off the dais. It is my privilege to introduce Professor Basanta Mallik, sir, my teacher, a distinguished historian, academic and administrator and public intellectual whose scholarly contribution have significantly enriched the study of Indian history, particularly the social and cultural history of Odisha and Eastern India. Sir completed his BA Honours in History from Ravenshaw College, Cuttack, and also completed his MA, MPhil and PhD in History from the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, New Delhi. He has been associated with Utkal University since 1996 and is currently recognized as a senior professor and a great historian in the PG Department of History, where he teaches history and historiography. He has authored, edited and translated more than 14 historical books and published over 50 research papers in reputed national and international journals. His major works on medieval Odisha, social movement, dissent and protest, Odisha Itihasa, Bhima and Odia identity are widely cited and respected. He has also served as editor of leading academic journals such as Utkal Historical Research Journal and Journal of Odisha History. He has guided 10 PhD scholars and 49 MPhil researchers and has successfully coordinated an ICSSR-sponsored national research project on the educational status of scheduled caste in Odisha. He also organized 12 national seminars or conferences 4 faculty development program, and 3 workshops. With notable international exposure, he has presented papers and delivered lectures at universities like in Germany, United Kingdom. He has also served key administrative roles at Utkal University, including chairman of PG Council and member of the syndicate, and currently heads several important research and policy-oriented centers. Beyond academia, Sir is the president of JNU Alumni Association and Odisha History Congress. His research interests span social movement in Indian history, Dalit and Ambedkar studies, human rights, etc. We are truly honored to have such an eminent historian and thinker with us today. Now, I request you, sir, please deliver your topic on understanding history and its method. Please, sir.
এটা রয়েছে এটি ওকে thank you. At the outset, I am very much grateful to the Department of History, Rama Devi University, for inviting me to participate in such an academic discourse which has been started from 17th February, and it would be continuing for 1 week long program. Distinguished faculty members, Dr. Ganeshwara Nayak, Dr. Jitendra Suna, Ramkrishna Binayak. She is the head of the department. Department of Statistics, but looking after the Department of History. And my dear student, Paramjit and Shivani. Shivani, I came to know that today that is also her name. And dear students of the history, it is really a great pleasure for me to see you all here, that you are delighted to study history, to understand history, to think history. And it is very important thing that has been pronounced in the first sentence. History is the study of a past. Is it the study of a past? Very often I have told on different occasions, history, itihasa, is also not a correct translation of a history. Itihasa. Iti means complete, ended. Hasa means katha which is going on. Is it the history that is complete? Is there a full stop in history? There may be some commas in history, but history means not itihasa. History means Gyanakosha. It is the encyclopedia of knowledge. History is the great banyan tree of knowledge, and all are the branches of that knowledge tree. Because history is the only discipline which makes study from root to fruit. Not all disciplines. History is called as a master discipline and mother subject. Mother of all social science subjects. History is art or a science, there is a debate. The first sentence what was pronounced by you here. E.H. Carr said that history is an unending dialogue between the societies of a past and a present. Not only what we say, not I say. History is the unending dialogue between the societies of a past, present and future also. History is a great timeline having no interruption. We have divided the timeline because we are unable to understand and analyze history, ancient, medieval, modern, post-modern, ultra-modern, like this. But history is not interrupted. History is a continuous process. It starts from the very beginning, since the very early time. History is as old as hills and rivers, forests and ocean. So long that has created, history has been created. In our PG Council office, there was just a debate, not a debate but a quarrel rather, with a physics professor. The physics professor said that no, our students cannot go to any other department. When there was interdisciplinary subject and there was a course that political science students should come to history, history students could go to political science, sociology, interdisciplinary. But history is a subject which is a multidisciplinary. It is not an interdisciplinary subject. Interdisciplinary means history and sociology relationship. History, interdisciplinary approach. But history is a subject, different branches, and history has a link with all branches. Which thing in the world has no history or has no past? Can you tell? You pronounce a sentence that belongs to history. Even political science teacher, even physics teacher, they pronounce a sentence of their discipline that belongs to history. How it is history? Because certainly they will be beginning, they will be speaking something from the beginning, then they will be coming to the development. So that is why history is an unending dialogue between the societies of a past and present. E.H. Carr said. But now, after a long discussion, it is also said history is of a future, time. History is the study of a time. The Annals school of historiography which developed. Annals means A-N-N-A-L-L-A-L-E-S. Annals means time. Time is passing through. And records are created. Records are noted by very few people. That is records of history, which is coming as a source to the present generation. History is written by present, past provides sources, and present provides mind. So that is a great link between source and a present, past and a present. So that is the history what we are going to study. If you do not study history, what will happen? Huh?
There will be no link between the past and present.
Yes.
So we commit same mistake which we already do in the past. For that there is a lot of great empire already destroyed. from history we got to know that which wrong decisions they made for that great empire destroyed. And for knowing history, we can construct a great nation.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, so as you stated, history is the mother of all social sciences. So, first of all, we all human exist in the society. We are all part of the society. So, just to know the society and exist in the society, one shall be very well acquainted with history to know what we basically did in the past, and it actually regulates the society, and it's not confined to the past only. History, in my opinion, affects present and is absolutely related to past, but it actually affects the present. So it's very important to learn history to understand the society better.
Yes, to understand the present, knowledge of a past is very much important. And we learn from the past to understand the present. And we also make plans accordingly to make the future. Plan to make the future. Future has to be constructed from the past mistakes. That is very much important, because history is the experience of a human knowledge, human adventurous activities. If you do not understand from the past, then you may commit different errors, different blunders, and that is why history has to be studied. And history is a memory of the nation. If you do not study history, if you do not know the past of prior to your birth, then you remain child forever. Understand? As your background becomes so strong, your mind becomes so strong. That is very much important for students, for everybody to understand history. Because of understanding history, reading history, writing history, thinking about history is very important in the 21st century. Because the society, history is under threat. It is said that every generation must write its own history. Every generation, R.G. Collingwood said, probably, every generation must write its own history, because historical understanding is changing day by day. And what is in fact history? Herodotus is considered as the father of history, because he was the Greek historian who started writing history first. And whatever he listened, that he started writing. And it is said that sometimes he collected gossip. He has a history. At that time, when scientific historians emerged, they said that gossip is not the source of history, or gossip should not be part of history. But presently, it is known that gossip could be considered as a part of history, because gossip is a part of a culture. Gossip is also part of entertainment. Understand? And that is, it is also valuable. You gossip with your friends. Why do you gossip? Huh? You gossip, yes, to express inner feeling, to understand others, to express your agony, sorrow, so many things by which you to get relaxed. Very important thing, your mind is re-energized by gossiping with your friends, isn't it? So at that time, when Herodotus started writing gossip, so it was not considered. 19th century historians, they said that no, it should not be. Is it a history? It should not be considered as a history. The next historian, Thucydides gave importance to science. Science means, since Thucydides, the scientific approach came to emerge. He developed the scientific interpretation of history. Herodotus, whatever he saw, he started writing because it was the beginning. It is not the fault of Herodotus. When someone is writing, he should, whatever he listens, whatever he looks at, that he recorded. And that was considered as a history. But Thucydides, he said that no, it should not be done like this, but some scientific approach should be there. What is the science? What is the science by which scientific approach should be given to history?
So through carbon data, there are various.
No, carbon data, that is the practice. What do you understand by science?
Through analysis and.
Yes, true facts and a methodology. Two important things. The science looks after or searches the truth, and the truth is discovered through experiment. That is science. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. That is science. And that approach itself was applied to arts. That is why history is considered science. When it was started to be written down by the application of a scientific approach. The cause and effect relationship or that method was given to history. Every action is developed with a cause. Nothing happens in the world without a cause. That is the causation. Causation is also in your syllabus. So, whatever you have studied, the cause and effect relationship of any event, historical event, it may be French Revolution, it may be national movement, it may be freedom movement, anything else. Buddhist movement, Bhakti movement, all movements, everything has a cause. No leaf falls on the earth without a cause. That is also scientific cause. Cause means a scientific cause. Okay, so that every cause has a consequence or effect, and the cause which is not able to produce a effect, and that is not a cause. Okay, so cause and effect relationship or that method was applied to history. That is the scientific approach which was given to write down the history. Here we have to understand so many things of history. History, what is the purpose of history? So many things that has taken place in the world, so many events it has taken place. But what we should study? True and relevant. Yes, true. Always he is giving importance to truth. Truth will be coming to method. That is the second part of my lecture. Okay. So that is the purpose of a history is the truth. Meaning of a history is also truth. Okay. Without truth, history cannot be written. ताको बंद कर दिया. मोर हाँ मु गोटे लेक्चर दौचे एठी अछि. So history means truth. When we will be discussing, first let us understand what is the value of history, what is the purpose of history. We have already discussed that if you do not study history, there would be lot of acquisition of knowledge. If you study history, you will get so many aspects of social science. You get society, sociology, information of sociology, information of political science, even economics, philosophy, anthropology. So all branches of social science, that is in history. Something of everything, that is history. It is not that any events, and its horizon is so vast, it is not possible to be controlled in a particular thing. That is why we have divided different aspects of history: social, political, cultural, economic, religious. Even apart from that, history of environment, history of science and technology, history of medicine, diseases, history of environment. There is a department in Sussex University, World Environmental History. Understand? Only they are discussing on environment, past to present. History mane of environment. And we have also created one chapter, one paper in our department, in our syllabus, environmental history. In Utkal University course, if you have seen, we have included environmental history, one paper. So this is the very important thing, that different aspects of history, as we said, I will be telling one thing. There are four things, four freedoms after getting what we get. Yes. The purpose of a history has been to indicate what mistakes man has done in the past. We have discussed. And how he could preserve the four freedoms. After studying history, we get four freedoms. Freedom from want. Freedom from want, we would get a knowledge. Freedom from oppression. Freedom of religion, and freedom of expression. These four things, that is the essence of the value of history. What we get is from after studying so many history, we get four things. We get a knowledge, or we get a technique how to get rid of want. There are different kind of want. मनुष्यर कौन अभाव अच्छी स्वभाव अर्थ आम बुझु केवल आर्थिक अभाव. It is not that limited to only economic want. There is also knowledge, want of knowledge, want of culture, want of development. So freedom from want, that you get the guidelines to get rid of the freedom from the want. That is one thing. Second thing, freedom from oppression. Freedom from oppression. In society there are so many aspects of oppression. Oppression, all of you understand? Huh? Different kind of oppression. Inequality is a kind of oppression. Whether we have equality or inequality in society, politics, culture. If you get study history, so many aspects of inequality and oppression, you will get it. And you will get an opportunity first for understanding it. If you are acquainted with it, then you will be trying to remove those things from your life, from the life of many people. That is a very important thing. If you see how peasants were exploited, oppressed, so many examples you have known. And ruling class, they exploited peasants. They oppressed the poor people. Okay. Even so many aspects, the people were exploited, plundered. There were beti, begari, exploitation, suppression, so many things. If you say that so many aspects of movements you have studied, you have not studied although, but you will study in higher classes. There is a peasant movement, there is a labor movement, there is a traders movement, even the freedom movement. Why there was a freedom movement against the Britishers? Because the people of India, they were exploited economically. They were suppressed. They were underestimated. So that is why they started the movement to get the freedom. Freedom is not the only political freedom. Freedom, social, cultural, economic freedom, political freedom, so many aspects of freedom. Here we have said. Then freedom of a religion. Freedom of a religion, you are free to profess, practice any religion you like. After that, the constitution has guaranteed. But in a course of a time, if you will see, you have studied the crusade in the history. So the people are fighting for freedom, freedom of religion. As you will be finding in the recently in the international scenario, Israel and Palestine, what for they are struggling?
So mostly immigration, mostly the rights over the land.
Homeland. Rights of the not only land, homeland. That is very important. Whatever they call their homeland is holy land, our homeland is also holy. So this is the freedom of religion, that you will get so many aspects of a religion and a religious freedom from the pages of history. Then freedom of expression. Kotha koibar adhikar. It is, of course, constitution has guaranteed you, but constitution is also product of a history. In history, so many aspects of there was no liberty, there was no inequality, there was no fraternity. There was a full of injustices. So that is why our preamble emphasized 4 philosophies, 4 guidelines of our government, for our government. That is the justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. If there was a justice, then justice would not have been emphasized. Had there been a liberty, liberty would not have got the opportunity to be expressed. Equality, all of you know. So long till today, after experimenting with the constitution, 75 years, more than that, still then we have enormous inequality in different aspects. That is also not a matter of politics. It is also a matter of history, sociology and our culture. So we have to understand it. Fraternity. What do you understand fraternity? Brotherhood. Brotherhood, sisterhood, together. It is not that sisterhood is also getting minused. Brotherhood is inside that sisterhood is there. So, because the language is also patriarchal. Language is also patriarchal. So that is why it is brotherhood. But our language is always a motherhood. We always give emphasis on mother's tongue. Is not it? So that is very, because first language we learn from the mother. That is why it is mother's tongue. So, history has given you right to speak, to think and speak. That is the right to expression. And this is the 4 values of history. Very important thing that we have. It is not that we have got everything from the present. While studying the past, we got so many aspects of understanding the history, and gradually we came to learn each other to make ourselves perfect, to make our society perfect, by which the people are trying to develop the liberty, equality, fraternity and justice in a sense of a feeling by which there would be a perfect society. Okay. So these are the important things. Then what is in your syllabus? Should I speak? Interrelationship between the subjects, history and political science, history and sociology, history and literature. You have studied? You have already studied? Padhava. Okay. So history and political science, interdisciplinary relationship. Robert Shelley said that history is the root and political science is the fruit. Why did it say so? And that gives the relationship between the history and the political science. Even in as we understand the French Revolution, in causes of French Revolution, in 3 lines. When we understand the peoples to pay, clergy to pray, and nobles to fight, is not it? And that is the causes of a French Revolution. Is not it? You do not get people to pay, clergy to pray, and a noble to fight. That is the cause of a French Revolution. Is not it? That means people have much more responsibility to pay all the taxation. And clergies, they have to do nothing. They have to pray only at the church. But they will get everything. And a noble to fight, noble makes a fight in the battlefield, but they do not do anything. And they get everything. So all responsibilities burden that is borne by peasantry. So that is the reason behind the French Revolution. So we have already discussed history and political science. History is the root and political science is the fruit. When we understand the history for any events, history students or researchers, they try to go to the root of the causes, root of the problem. Root means why it is developed. They try to understand from the beginning of the problem. It is said that poverty in India. Why there is poverty in India? Inequality, yes. Inequality is there, and on social condition means
Sir, if someone is drawn from society, if that society will be not developed, then that person will be like that society.
Sir, lack of proper skill development and lack of proper education that would provide them the employment that they want.
yes.
So program were made for only for the high classes people and they are benefited. And other class people are not benefited from the program, so development and the rate of
Okay.
So, ଆଜିର ଡେଟ୍ରେ ବି ଲୋକମାନେ ଜାଣୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଯଦି ସରକାର କିଛି ବି ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ କରୁଛି ତ ଲୋକମାନେ ତାର ଠିକ୍ ସେ ଜାଣକାରୀ ପାଉନାହାନ୍ତି ତ ମୋ ହିସାବରେ ସେଇଟା ହିଁ ସବୁଠୁ ବଡ଼ ରିଜନ୍ ପଭର୍ଟିର ଯଦି କୌଣସି ବି ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ କୌଣସି ପଲିସି ମେକ୍ କରୁଛି ତ ତାର ଇମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟ ସେତେବେଳେ ହେବ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପବ୍ଲିକ୍ ସେ ବିଷୟରେ ଜାଣିଥିବ ବଟ୍ ଯଦି 95% ପଲିସି ମେକିଂ ହେଉଛି ତାର 1 କି 2% ହିଁ କେବଳ ପବ୍ଲିକକୁ ଜଣାପଡ଼ୁଛି ସେ ପଲିସିର
Okay.
ତାଙ୍କ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ହିଁ ହେବା ପାଇଁ
ତମେ କହୁଛ ଇଗ୍ନୋରାନ୍ସ ଓକେ ହଁ yourself.
So, in my opinion, even after so many years, discrimination still perpetuates the society, and the root cause of poverty in India is corruption, because the situation is still the same, and we actually have like changes years have changed, but the situation is somehow still the same it used to be years ago. Like the rich is becoming richer and the poor is becoming poor. The situation which is
major reasons are overpopulation and the lack of knowledge people face poverty.
Why China is very rich then?
Yes.
सर और एक पॉइंट याद आ रहा है सर ऐसा लगता है कि गवर्नमेंट ओनली फोकसिंग ऑन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग द फ्रीबीज एंड द मनी मतलब गवर्नमेंट फोकस कर रहा है केवल पैसा कुछ देने पे उस सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी में rather than developing skill development that will provide them for sustainable employment. अगर गवर्नमेंट ये फोकस करे कि हम पोवर्टी सेक्शन सोसाइटी को कुछ ऐसा स्किल knowledge of an individual about a particular sector.
Okay. So very good, interesting question that I raised, that everybody is interested to speak. Good. But you have not spoken like a history student. You have spoken like a political science student. Because you are speaking from the present. Nobody is speaking from the past. Poverty has also history. Inequality has a history. Oppression has a history. Discrimination has a history. We have not studied so far this thing. Because inequality, oppression, discrimination, it did not start since yesterday. It started since the beginning of civilization. Man exploits another man. Big brother exploits younger brother. Elder brother exploits younger brother. When they were going to school, they were facing the exploitation. When they becoming rich, elder, they are also exploiting each other. It is not that exploitation starts between two classes. Exploitation even in the family it starts, takes place. Okay. Yes or no? Yes. Because I am speaking from the core point. From the family itself, you must understand it. Equality, it should exist in the family also. Family is a democratic organization. As a democracy, it is said that we have got a democracy, political democracy. But Dr. Ambedkar said there should be social and economic democracy. Social democracy means equality in the family, equality in the society. Economic democracy means in society how economy could be democratically distributed. That is the economic democracy. Okay, social democracy is very important than political democracy. Okay, so poverty developed because of a structural misadjustment, we can say, from the historically it is said that you did not give emphasis on the land which was developed since the very beginning. Land, unequal distribution of land. Land was not distributed like a bhoga or a prasad, but it is in economic term, it is distribution. That means in course of time it was divided or the people took it away. Land grant, land assignment, so many aspects. It is taught in the economics, it is also taught in the history, in the feudalism. Okay, land grant. Land grants were given to the different classes of people who have received land grant. Brahmins received a land grant, that you have understood. And second,
Secular religious land grants were
secular religious. Okay, it is a religious grant, Brahmin. Another,
warrior or elite.
huh? Okay, noble, warrior. They belong to only one category, nobles to fight category. They received land grant. Okay, other temples. Temple received land grant. Lord Jagannath, how many acres of land he has possessed? Lord Jagannath is also a big landlord. Huh? Tirupati is the most capitalistic god. Huh? ନୁହେଁ ନା ଠାକୁର ହେଲେ ବୋଲି ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସମାଲୋଚନା କରିବାନି। ହଁ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଭକ୍ତି କର କିନ୍ତୁ ସମାଲୋଚନା ବି କର। ସମାଲୋଚନା ନୁହେଁ, ଆଲୋଚନା ହଉ ସମାଲୋଚନା ହଉ। ସମାଲୋଚନା ଅର୍ଥ ଆମେ କେବଳ ଖରାପ କଥା ଆଲୋଚନା କରୁନୁ, ଭଲ କଥା ଆପ୍ରିସିଏଟ୍ କରୁଛୁ, ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦରେ ବି ଇନଇକ୍ୱାଲିଟି ରହୁଛି। So anyway, so the gods and the temples are big landlords. Okay, so this is the uneven, and those who are owners of the land, they are not the tiller of the land. That is why it is inequality developed. Understood? Those who are owner of the land, I am owner of 200 acres of land, but I am not recognized my land. ମୁଁ ଜମି କେଉଁଠି ମୁଁ ଚିହ୍ନି ନାହିଁ ବି, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ 200 ଏକରର ମାଲିକ. But the person who goes and tills the land, he does not get a proper wage. Even if he gets wage only 500 rupees per day. 5 rupees was during my childhood days, it was 2 rupees. One day wage was 2 rupees. But now it is 500 rupees, but still then 500 rupees is not a plenty enough. So that is why poverty continues. History of poverty, that is the economic history, social economic history. Social history, and all of you on share that history, social, economic, political, cultural history. What is there in the social category? What you want to discuss? Social history. Social history includes caste, untouchability, low status of women, low status of Shudras, and social relationship. That determines the society. Till today there is no equality between men and women. Gender inequality. So caste, class, gender, 3 aspects. That is the very important and pertinent aspects of undevelopment in India. Everything is centered around it. Caste, class, gender. Your history, your politics, your culture, your everything, economy. Is not it? That is why, what is the solution? Solution only, yes. Education is the solution, employment is the solution, then constitutional right is the solution. These are very important things. Economic history, economic land, industry, land revenue, land tax, landlessness. These are the matters of economic history. Banking, commercial revolution, so many aspects which are coming forward. Industrial revolution, commercial revolution, imperialism, First World War and Second World War. These are interconnected events, international events. Industrial revolution developed. Where did it develop? England. It expanded whole Europe, whole world through commercial revolution. Commercial revolution led to the imperialism. Imperialism oblique colonialism. Same thing. Then colonialism led to the First World War. Imperialism led to the First World War. And the First World War also became the cause of a Second World War. Okay? Third World War ହେଇନି. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲାଇଜେସନ୍ ହେଲା ପରେ ବି ହେଇଯାଇଛି. ସେ ଯେଉଁ ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲାଇଜେସନ୍ କଥା କହୁଥିଲେ ଜଣେ someone said that rich is becoming rich and poor is becoming poor. Here 2% population of India, they have possessed 40% wealth of India. 2% population, they have possessed 40% wealth of India. You can find out that what is the process of inequality, economic inequality. And economic inequality, that is also matter of history, present history. All of you. So, historical development that we started or discussed history, a relationship with the political science and sociology, economics. Here we said that today's history, today's politics is tomorrow's history. What we say today in political scenario, it becomes history for tomorrow. That is, history, political development of our today's life becomes tomorrow's history. And what we study, we do not study political theory, but we said we study the practices of our politics through kingship, through governments, etc. Economic relationship, economics and history. In economics, we study economics theories, and here in the history, we study land, we study land revenue, land assignments, and land, what did you say? Events, that are the every political events, and feudalism, capitalism, socialism. These are also of all economic developments of a human society. Then in history and literature, some people say that history is a literary subject. That means there is no difference between Odia, English as a literature subject and history is a subject. But it is not true. Literature is literature, history is history. History is a science, literature is based on imagination. Understand? Imagination, that is not true, but history is based on truth. If there is no truth, then it is not history. So when we discuss that how history could be written, history cannot be written without help of literature, because we have to express the events of a past, culture of a past, issues of a past through some words, through some sentences which belongs to the language and the literature. So here a comparison could be done that the reverse stream is the literature and the boat is the history. Boat, when it passes without help of water, boat cannot move. Similarly, without literature or literary help, only the matter of expression. But literature should not infringe, should not enter into the boat. Literature means the water. जदि पानी पशिला डंगा भितर को ताले डंगा बुड़ीब से भली हिस्ट्री नामक जो बोट चलुची शिप चलुची जदि ता भितर जो इमेजिनेशन जदि पशिला लिटरेचर मीन्स इमेजिनेशन हमें चंद्र को कौच ये हूँ गोटे सुंदरी महिला मुह चंद्रमुखी किंतु इतिहास कहबनी इतिहास कहब इट इज ए सैटेलाइट अंडरस्टैंड से चंद्रमुखी नुह ये होती सैटेलाइट सेटा हूँ इतिहास कहब सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द हिस्ट्री एंड लिटरेचर so many things Ramayana and Mahabharata, whether it is history or literature. Historical literature, so many things. For example, Krishna Benire Sandhya, writings of Surendra Mahanti, Nila Saila, whether it is historical literature, whether it is history or a literature, what you can say. But you know, literature has overwhelmed the historical events. Okay, so it should be, which is more dominant, that would be the platform it would be given to that. That it should be considered, it should be said that it is literature, not a history. Historical theme is there, but it is overwhelmed. Okay, so that is why it is should not be said historical literature. Only theme is there, but it is so much literary narratives based on imagination to make the people entertained. What are the function of a literature? Function of a literature is to entertain the people. When it was started in the 19th century, that when the scientific development developed, then history came in contact with the science, then all these imagination things were detached or removed from the historical discussion. Then it was called that scientific history. J.B. Bury said that history is a science, no more, no less. It is a science. And L. Basam, he said that when you read Ramayana Mahabharata as literature, you will find so many historical incidents are there. And when you will study them as a history, you will find it full of literature. Understood? There are some historical incidents, but it is expressed in a literary way overwhelmingly, by which there are so much aspects of literature are there, so much imaginations, exaggerations, which are completely biased. When we discuss in historical method, There is no bias, there is no exaggeration, there is no generalization of the things. These are very important things. Okay, so let us discuss about something. What is the time? Methods. Huh? What is it? 12. Okay. So method, we should now discuss the what is the historical method. You have not studied. Method is there in your syllabus. So the students of history, they have responsibility the understanding of history. To some extent you have understood history, some extent, not in full extent. So many things you have to read, you have to think. Then when you come to write history, that is the most difficult work. Writing history, that is the, you will find that so many people are writing history, speaking history. Freelance historians are there, but they have no training to become a historian. Is not it? That you have a course of history, for example, graduation course, post-graduation, MPhil, research. MPhil is not there, but a PhD. For a PhD, you have to do a research course, research classes. That is the methodology classes. So methodology means there are certain techniques of writing history. What you do it? How can you write history? Can you copy down from others? Huh? R.G. Collingwood said that is scissor and paste history. Scissor and paste means you understand the scissor, कइंची एंड पेस्ट पेस्ट लगे छपके दब जो भाई से भाई कॉपी डाउन करी लिखिदेव दैट मीन्स रिसर्च व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रिसर्च क्रिटिकली एनालिसिस ओके व्हाट इज द क्रिटिसिज्म
find out truth behind the sources we take. If not in literary, then basis on archaeology and other foreign travelers, contemporary foreign travelers.
Sources. Okay.
Sir, not only believing on the sources but also raising the question and finding out the proper answers and also putting own view also.
Good. Yes. Research. Anybody else?
Sir, it shall be, in my opinion, a unique topic, and in my opinion, it shall be a unique topic, and which is mostly untouched, but is basically a big elephant in the room, in my opinion. And there shall be thorough, in my opinion, thorough research basically refers to getting acquainted with available resources, and not only mentioning, if it's my research topic, I shall not be mentioning about, not be writing only good things about the particular event, but also the negative aspects as well. So it's unbiased.
Yes, everything should be rethought. Yes, but yes.
So check which condition this thing was written. If we go through the literary sources, we must take which condition they written that thing. Like in many times some writers write some things under the pressure of the kings, and they write only the good things but never written the bad things about the kings. And we also learn good things. So that also want to criticize.
Okay. So that is the examination of a sources. So before my question is what is the basic understanding of a research? What do you mean research? Some people have said it's processes. Some people say method how to deal with sources. What is the meaning of a research? Yes.
So first जो जिनसे हम लोग research करते हैं research already is that discovered and we are
Revisiting the same research.
And what is the purpose? What is your goal? Research करा जाउछि कोन पाई? Research माने तमे गोटे खोजुचो. You are trying to search out something. What is that?
What is Soto?
Okay. So this is the process of bringing out the truth. That is the creation of knowledge. Research means creation of knowledge. Okay. से जोटा बाहर करिया कथा कुआ होचे ब्रिंगिंग आउट डिगिंग आउट तळे खोजिकी रहउचे तमे खोजी खोजी बाहर करछो सेटा होचे नॉलेज and that is the knowledge which was freshly known. It was not known earlier. Okay. So that is the purpose of our research. Creation of a knowledge. This knowledge is created by you. That is created by her. That is the माने कौन सेटा तम नारे सेटा रहिला पोटेंट रहिला हाँ नुह कि तुम बही छपे दब लिखब रखब हाँ तुम सेटा सत्वाधिकार रहिला किए ताकू धार कले तुम नाटा लिखब एथुरु मु पाइली बोली दैट इज द थिंग तेणु सेटा होची रिसर्च मीन क्रिएशन ऑफ अ नॉलेज when you will be finding out a knowledge and it is not a small discovery बुझिपार समुद्र मुक्ता बाहर करने सहित सामान ताको केट व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस सो मेनी पीपल आर राइटिंग हिस्ट्री बुक्स बिकॉज से माने सब हेरोडोटस टाइप रे लेखा लिखुचंती जहाँ देखुले ता लिखुले बुझी बुझी गसिप ठारू आरंभ करी जहाँ कोटी राजा बसुले कोटी राजा कासुले राजा छिंकुले सब लिखुंट बट दैट इज नॉट द प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग यू विल बी गेटिंग ट्रेनिंग ऑफ राइटिंग सो देयर इज सिलेक्शन collection of a material, selection of a material, interpretation of a material, bias in history, so many aspects you have to understand. Then you will be able to finding out the truth, that is the knowledge. That is the rigorous labor for understanding the processes. Collection of, before that I would like to take selection of a subject, which is very important thing. So many students come to us, to teachers, sir mo pai gote topic gote de diontu je mu gote eta kariya ko chance e samaste seta ko everybody speaks like this sir gote topic mote gote diontu are we give emphasis am teacher mane bi amuk jo boli kohutile you think then will modify it. First, groundwork has to be done by yourself. Why it is said that the topic on which you are interested, it may be social history, economic history, political history, like this. It may be Bhakti movement, it may be nationalist movement, it may be vocational studies, it may be Bhakti movement, or whatever. It may be history of medicine, science and technology, history of rainfall, whatever may be. That should be suitable to you. For example, I am interested in religious movements. Teacher gave me on a trade and commerce. So I cannot deny because the teacher has given. Understand? So throughout life, without any interest, disgusting life, that because my teacher has given it. So that is why teacher, even we did this, we ask our students, you think first, then we will modify it. Okay, we give a modification. Why it is said so? Because throughout your life you would be living with that topic. You would be surrounding that topic. You cannot escape. ଶୟନେ ସ୍ୱପନେ ଜାଗରଣେ ସବୁବେଳେ ମାନେ ସେଇ ଏରିଆ ଉପରେ ତମେ ଥିବ, ଭାବୁଥିବ କ'ଣ ଡେଭଲପ୍ ହେଲା, ନୂଆ ହେଲା, କ'ଣ ହେଲା କହିବ. So that is the very important thing, selection of a subject, selection of a topic. That is very important thing, because throughout life you would be living with that. Then you would be getting collection of a material. That history is full of materials. That whole library is there. For topic you should take a small topic. That is the micro level research. Topic is small, time is also limited. If time is limited, then your study would be deeper and deeper. For example, ancient and medieval time, we can overlap centuries, 16th century, 17th century, like this, because the sources are limited. But when the modern time comes, sources are plenty, even in the English language. Language, knowledge of a language is also very important, because ancient Indian history should have a knowledge in Sanskrit, because the sources were described in Sanskrit. Medieval Persian and modern English, Bengali, Marathi, that Tamil, where the English settlements took place first. Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, then English. So you should have a knowledge, very important. Could remember M.N. Das. At that time he was vice chancellor. I came and met him from JNU. I was doing MPhil in Odia literature. Odia, my source is Odia literature, history, social protest and a popular movement in medieval Odisha. And he, for the first time, he asked me, "Do you know Odia?" Well, sir, I know Odia. He said, "Do you know medieval Odia?" I fumbled. Yes. There is a difference, your Odia, present Odia, and medieval Odia. First try to understand medieval Odia, then you will go through sources. That is very important thing. आमे जो ओडिया कौच महाभारत पढ़ीदेले से महाभारत को आम बर्तमान बुझीपारे बुझीपार so many words are there, those words are not in use now. Those words are not in use now. Words are changing day by day. Very important thing that knowledge of a language and words, etymological interpretation of history, etymology, place names. If you find out if you read Romila Thapar's book, then you will find the etymological interpretation. So many terms, how did it develop, how this term is coincided. Bhuvaneshwar, name of Bhuvaneshwar, actually name was Tribhuvaneshwar. Tri has been omitted sometimes. Katak's name is not Katak. Its name was Bidanasi Katak, then Varanasi Katak, then Katak remained, and others were omitted. Because people are acquainted with the shorter form. People speak. They know nickname. Why nickname people, parents, even parents forget their real name. children's real name. Huh? ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଇ କହୁଛି. So it is very important, the term, and you will find that a term also gives historical connotation, historical understanding. If you go, for example, you are going to Koraput to Jaipur by Konark Express, Hirakhand, but it is going to Koraput to Jaipur. You try to find out try to see the all stations, name of stations. You will find the name is all where the tribal names, because of the tribal areas are there. Odisha was also once upon a time a tribal land. Understand? In course of time, the culture has been, tribal culture has been assimilated or integrated with the main culture. Our main deity, Lord Jagannath, is considered, but form of worship is completely different now. In a Brahminical way, he is being worshipped. Even you will find that so many culture is a mixed culture. Tribal, Sanskritic culture has been assimilated together. So when you study the ancient Indian history, you will find the linguistic interpretation is very important. That is called interpretation. When you collection of the facts, selection of facts, randomly you will make collection of facts on your topic. For example, agrarian system in Kotak, in medieval Kotak or modern Kotak, whatever you may write. So many terminologies you will come across. Even ancient and medieval time also. You will find that a language is very important in form of a research. Without understanding language, it is very difficult to make the research, particularly ancient and medieval Indian history. All you are reading medieval Indian history? Huh? Okay. So, why medieval Indian history is so much significant? Or it is insignificant, you want try to understand?
So there are more sources if compared to the ancient period, but lesser if compared to the modern period. Somehow.
Do you find it interesting? How? Why it is? How it is interesting?
Mostly about its somehow mostly about conflicts, rivalry, and
That is a political history. Conflict, rivalry, that is the political affairs of a period.
it's about different dynasties and how it divided India in different dynasties, the upper part, the lower part, and then the later medieval period with the advent of the Mughals and how it affected the Indian economy, the people, society, everything.
What is the significance of our medieval history? Why one should read medieval Indian history? Can we omit medieval Indian history? No. What you get from medieval Indian history?
Sir, from medieval Indian history, we came to know the medieval authoritarian that they came and ruled over India and take our own independence from them to be ruled by our own people. And that's why it is important. And now also there are many of the remaining constructions and many of the contribution they have provided to us, despite of their lack of some political and policies. So that's why I think it is important.
Anyway, any other thing?
Intellectual changes also took place in the medieval period. It could also be termed as the first Renaissance in India.
First?
It's a Renaissance of Indian history.
Renaissance.
Yes, sir.
So, second thing is medieval India has seen the cultural change and cultural society is changing that time. New religious things coming to the India like Persian culture introduced in India, Turkish, Afghan cultures are in India, which are totally different from the ancient time to that time was societies, Indian societies are a new thing that comes with the society, how people was central and east, central and west Asia has been their rituals and the architectural development, which one of the most significant is Indo-Islamic culture has developed during that period.
Good. Anybody else?
So nobility in religion like Sufi, Bhakti movement that started in medieval India, later they formed a very important part like in Islam. We say there are many practices and rituals that has been intervened in now's practice. So religious and cultural with architectural history that also plays a very high part in the background of medieval India.
Bhakti movement and a Sufi movement. Two enlightened movements for reforming the society, medieval Indian society. Particularly Bhakti movement for reforming Hindu society, Sufi movement for reforming Islamic society, and a new emergence of a culture, but like Sikhism developed. Another enlightened movement under Guru Nanak, like that medieval time produced a very important movement, and through this movement even whole India culturally was bounded together. That is very important. Culturally it was bounded together. It is not that you have already studied English language brought out the cultural political unification, but this Bhakti movement brought out the cultural unification in the medieval India in the pre-British time. Cultural unification, that is very important. Cultural unification, north, south, west, east, all these places, through the threads of Bhakti, it was united together. Okay. It is not that only English language bounded together. Culture, Bhakti, it was bounded together in the pre-British time. That is very important thing. Another thing is that, translation, dissemination, process of the dissemination of knowledge that developed in medieval India. Dissemination of knowledge. For example, the knowledge during the time of Akbar set up a translation bureau from Sanskrit sources. For example, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, Panchatantra, all these Sanskrit sources, they were translated into Arabic and Persian for the use of the people, by which the Indian knowledge were transmitted to the Arabic world, and their sources of knowledge were also translated into Sanskrit. So this is process of translation created a very important journey of knowledge from one place to another that developed in the medieval time. Okay, so very important thing we discussed. Any question? How medieval time you pare? So any medieval Indian history question, or we will go to discuss something of Annals School of Historiography. Bureau of Printing, Bureau of Translation, influence of Islam on Indian food, dress, song, music, introduction of instrument like tabla, pakhwaz, qawwali, couplets, Hindu-Muslim cordial relationship in medieval time. Particularly the socio-religious reform movements, bhakti movements. In Odisha, there are emergence of 5 saints. Do you know their names? Those who were protagonists of a bhakti movement. Comrades, Pancha Sakha, you can call 5 friends. Comrade, that is a very left language. 5 comrades, 5 friends, even they were not friends like you. They settled in different places before. Even sometimes it is said that they did not have met each other. They across a century established themselves. And because of the propagation of the similar trend of ideology, another thing that transcreation of Sanskrit epics into Odia languages, particularly Mahabharata, Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Harivangsha. All these literatures came to be transcreated. Why I am saying that transcreation, not translation?
Because जहाँ originality जहाँ थिला सेते नीचर भी new imagination भी add कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
नीचर ideology भी सेते add करेंगे.
हाँ.
It's not just copied.
Yes, Sarada Das, when he transcribed Mahabharata was kept here, he saw one stanza here, like you were making a paragraph translation. That he had heard the stories, Sanskrit stories of Mahabharata. He started writing from his own mind Mahabharata in Odia. Then he has added the Odia stories, Odia culture, Odia riddles, so many things with his Mahabharata, Odia Mahabharata. And that came to be known as a unique Mahabharata. It is a separate Mahabharata. Of course, only the theme was the same, but still then he has brought out some changes, because changes in the name of 18 Parvas are there, but in some he has changed the name of Parvas. Musali Parva was not in the Vyasas Mahabharata, but he created Musali Parva, another Parva. Musali Parva. Navagunjara. So many things. Navagunjara, even Jackal stories, Jackal story, story of Navagunjara, story of a true mango, Pratham Bajire Bhimo Hare, like this, so many stories, so many new stories he has added to Mahabharata, which was quite Odia in nature. That is why it is Odia Mahabharata, unique Mahabharata. All of you know 5 friends: Balaram Das, Jagannath Das, Jasavanta, Ananta, Achudananda Das. Acha, Balaram Das is a Lakshmi Purana. All of you know. All of you have read it? No. You have heard it. But you read it and rewrite it. Rewrite means make a research on it. Balaram Dasa's Lakshmi Purana is the first kind of a gender literature in India. You can say in a 16th century, this kind of a gender literature was not prepared in all over India. Lakshmi Purana. What a Lakshmi Purana is a story, is a unique story. That are the stories of a conflict of between a husband and a wife, what happens in every household family, and that was shown in the case of gods and goddesses, Jagannath Sri Lakshmi Purana, and that is a very important story, and it gives lessons. For example, abolition of untouchability, integration of women's right, and demerit of divorce, getting separated, asking wife to go away from the house, which was happening in that at that time, and that was shown in the case of Lord Jagannath and Goddess Lakshmi, and what kind of a trouble they have faced, both two brothers, Baladeva and Jagannatha. And at last Goddess Lakshmi got the declared principle of social equality. Of course, that is in theory, not in practice, that everybody should enter into the premises of Lord Jagannath's temple. They will take a prasad, and so that is the declaration, even it is thing, and that is the only significance of a Buddhism, social equality. It is said that a temple premise.
Why Muslims and other religions were not allowed to enter the temple if there is unity in the Buddhism?
No, in unity Buddhism was there because Hindu, they did not allow others to enter in the temple. That is the reason that Hinduism has been criticized by Vivekananda, that not touch me-ism, that I am holy. In another way, it has asked that Hinduism should be purified, Hinduism should be reformed, by which it trust all mankind, by which it should invite others, fellow religionists, to come into the fold of Hinduism and into the portal of a temple, by which Hinduism could be expanded. But Hindu followers, they did not do it. That is why they do not allow, and that is a kind of a conservatism. You enter in a mosque, you enter in the church, in any other places, but temples are restricted. Any other question? Another thing is that in the medieval time, through this literary movement, the regional language and literatures were promoted. Like Jagannath Das composed of Uriya Bhagavat, Balaram Das composed Uriya Ramayana, Sarada Das composed Uriya Mahabharata, and Achyutananda Das composed Harivansha. Other two poets, Ananta Das, Yasavanta Das, Malika was also composed by Achyutananda Das. So many devotional poems they composed, and similarly even in the Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, other places like Bengal. Similarly, the Bengali language got promoted. Even Kasidas, he wrote Bengali Mahabharata. Krutibas wrote Ramayana, Bengali. Bamun Ghosh, he wrote Bhagavad in Bengali. Both developments that took place in the same time, but Odia pioneered. Odia literary movement pioneered in the 16th century, 17th century. But Bengal developed after British came and settled there. So, Hindu-Muslim cordial relationship that was developed, and that happened in the medieval history. Bhakti and a Sufi movement that developed. If you developed enmity, then certainly there would be cultural, social instability. For development, socio-political, cultural stability is necessary. If there is no stability, then you cannot develop. That is very important things we have to understand for the time to come, because it is the time that the people must understand to live with the different people, different section of a society, irrespective of a caste, creed and a color. Then cordial society could be developed. Okay, then any question more? Any?
So definitely we have to look for the sources, various sources. And sir, we know that historical sources are manipulated and they contain in some aspect the true date also, subject matter and also the content also. But in some cases they were manipulated by the regional beliefs, doers, and also have the mixed culture also. So how we should believe while reconstructing history from the
Yes, how to use this kind of sources.
eight subjects and all.
Yes. So, sources have to be examined. This is very, before using the source for your research, you have to examine the sources, the motive of authors. That is very much important. And another thing, that if you find story is fabricated, first thing that whether it belongs to that date, your area of research belongs to the 17th century, whether it was written in the 17th century or later, possibly after 10 years or 15 years like this, that is acceptable. If it is written in the 19th century and it is given in the 17th century, that is a fabrication one. For that, there is a method, is a corroboration of a data. For example, I would be giving, something has come out in the newspaper Samaj about one event. The same event, if it is published in the Prajatantra, contemporary paper, then you can make a study, corroboration of a study. And author or researcher has every right to accept the sources and reject the sources. Understand? That is the thing. If you have to be convinced first whether this is true and perfect, authentic, to be used for your research, because that is the raw material. With that raw material, your edifice would be built up. Perfect, then it would be helpful and it will strengthen you. You may reject it. Okay. So for understanding it, re-examining it, you have to first examine the author. It is belonging to which time, date, and language. Language could be also known. For example, some Persian words, if it certainly it belongs to the 16th century, 17th century. It is not that prior to that. So that is also very important things you have to understand. Examination of sources is very important, and motive of authors. What for the author has written it. For example, Abul Fazl. You are writing about the Akbar. Writing of Abul Fazl is there, and a writing of Badawi is there. Abul Fazl is a good friend of Akbar. Badawi is a critic of Akbar. But still then, Akbar had given a place, respectable place to Badawi in his court. That is his greatness. Knowing pretty well he is his critic, still then he had accepted it. So, you have to use both the sources, Abul Fazl sources as well as Badawi sources, and make a comparison, corroboration. Then decision is yours, conclusion is yours, views are yours. Author, okay? Yes. Author has to be make this kind of a rigorous labor.
Means that we need an imagination of both the persons.
Historical imagination. When you say imagination, that belongs to literature. Okay. Thank you. Any more question?
So, my question is on historiography. So, when we talk about republic or democracy, it always said that these are modern thoughts. But we always use that in Indian concept that ancient India has two republic Mahajanpadas. And modern historian says that there is no republics in ancient world. But when we talk about world history, that Roman has the republic, how is it possible that in modern historian concept, world Roman has the republic, but ancient India has not republic states?
You know, republic, of course it is a modern concept. But you know, what is the meaning of a republic? When the head of the state is the elected one. Our election, ballot box is there, and people go for voting. That is the election, direct or indirect. We are a republic. India is a republic because our head of the state, President of India, is indirectly elected. Okay. So similarly, Buddha comes from Kapilavastu, which is considered to be a republic state. It is not a kingdom, it is a state. State is given because it was a republic. Republic, for example, when the clan people, they sat in an assembly by which they, with a voice vote, with raising hands, they selected the head of the republic. So it could be called republic in a sense. For example, so it is, we are also discussing Buddhism had also rudimental democracy. Democracy and equality. These two terms were prevalent in the Buddhist order. Okay. For example, as we understand democracy today, it was not like that during the Buddhist time. But there was also a democracy. Democracy means that decision through a discussion. That is the rudimentary form of a democracy. Okay, so in the Sanghas, Buddhist Sanghas, they were discussing everything before discussion. So that is the kind of a democracy prevailed. And even they conducted votes. For example, sal leaves were used as ballot papers. Buddhist time. When there are two petikas were kept in two sides. One person was here. If the issue was to be decided, yes or no, then a monk should be going and leave the salt leaf in a particular basket. They would be throwing the salt leaf. For example, when it will be counted, which one is be more, that would be decision. So that is the rudimentary form of a election, rudimentary form of a democracy. In those days, if it could be developed like this, then certainly we can say that is a baby form of a democracy could be developed there. Okay then. Anybody else?
Sir, I have derived a question from historiography or methods of writing. Till now, everyone says that history is a piece of literature just because it's style of narration. So, how can we make it more precise, non-arguable, and very short point, like not like the rhythmic poetry, but more like history? So, what are the ways that we can reform it to only history, but not literature?
You see, literature, when we call it a literature, when history is written, there should not be any bias. Bias means inclination to someone else or to any event, any incident, emotionally. That is very, emotion should not be also there. Here, that you would be discussing the matter intellectually, which would be based on a reason, not based on emotions. That is very important thing. And another thing that when you discuss, nothing should be exaggerated. Exaggeration should not be there. For example, how many we do not know Ashoka conquered Kalinga. 1.5 million people were died, killed, and 1 lakh people were imprisoned. Who are there to count? Some historians have also written. We are reading. When I was a student, I also read, you have also read. So here it is a question, whether it was a process of accounting. Even now, we do not count, we are not able to count how many soldiers died. That is also exaggeration. This is called exaggeration. Even it is said that Ashoka has conquered, whether he has truly conquered, it is a hypothetical question. Ashoka has whether truly conquered. There are two inscriptions. There are two inscriptions in Odisha. One is in Dhauli, another in Jaugada, another in Takeshila. On the basis of the evidence of Takeshila, we say that 1.5 to 1 lakh people. And that was written by the courtiers of Ashok. Okay, they have exaggerated. They have written even the concept of courtiers, court poets, like Harisena of Samudragupta. Samudragupta wrote in such a way that Samudragupta is so great, even he has conquered the whole world. Now heaven is rest to be conquered. Huh? Even in the language of, it could be said about the Mahishasura. Sorgo baki rohila kebala joy kare prithivita joy heigalani. Kounatile ki? Huh? Samudragupta, about Samudragupta, Harisena has written it. If you believe in that, that is exaggeration. Exaggeration means this one. So it is a literary expression. And Jaugoda, the Takshashila inscription is also exaggeration. Okay. Another thing, Jaugoda inscription of Ashok. Jaugoda inscription says that Abhijita ought to become. Ashok has said Abhijita ought to become. Abhijita means unconquered. Ought to become means forest dwellers. Means Adivasis. Who are living in the forest? Tribals. That means those who are tribals, they remain unconquered. Even those who fought and died in the battle, they were also Adivasis. Who are there? Republics. The concept of a republic, even it is a political structure of all tribals, tribal oligarchies was there. The kingship was not the matter. Kingship developed when the Aryans came to India. Concept of a kingship, one Raja, sacrifice, bali, conquest. All these things developed in the latter Vedic time. Asamveda Yajna, all these things. All these things developed later. But during those times, there was no, it was a republican, it is a kingdom, republic state like Kapilavastu, Kalinga. And here, Ashoka has acknowledged that the tribes remain unconquered. Okay. Ashoka has said Prajas should be dealt with Prajas are my own sons and daughters. It is not the language of a conqueror. It is the language of a pacifier. That means Ashoka could understand the value of the people of Kalinga, those who were tribals at that time. They sacrificed their life. They sacrificed their blood in such a way that Ashoka was changed. So that is why Ashoka was convinced that I failed to conquer these people. So he changed himself, changed his mind, changed his heart, and a real change took place. If Ashoka became great, it is because of Kalinga. Then anybody else?
So why it regarded as that Samudragupta's Alavatula inscription was a posthumous inscription?
Posthumous?
Posthumous inscription.
Posthumous মানে posthumous যে সমুদ্রগুপ্তর posthumous?
No, the inscription को कहाँ पे posthumous से inscription कहाँ है?
Was it posthumous to kuha jay after, for example, after someone dead, if that inscription is written, then it could be called posthumous death. I do not know. To make Samudragupta great, that inscription was written. Whether during his lifetime or after death, that we do not know. If it is written posthumous, then certainly after his death. Even during the time of a kingship, so many kings, they got written. There are Rajavangshabalis, Suryavamshis, Chandravamshis, like this. So many Suryavamshi rulers, Chandravamshi rulers. There was no Suryavamshi, no Chandravamshi. Where have the Chandravamshi, Suryavamshi, they have gone now. These are all mythology. It is not a matter of a history. They have written. Now historians should reject this concept. They have written it only to make themselves great. That is the divine theory of kingship. Of course, they spoke, they have written, and a historian should critically rewrite the history of those kings in such a way. Okay then. Okay, thank you. I hope you got enlightened.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening and inspiring lecture. Your words have greatly enhanced our understanding of this important subject. Yes, sir, your vast experience, deep scholarship, and profound understanding of history has undoubtedly enriched our knowledge and broadened our perspective. In our tradition, we express our respect and gratitude to our guests through a small token of love and appreciation, isn't it? So, now I would like to invite Pragya Jaina to kindly present a bouquet to our esteemed resource person, Professor Dr. Basanta Kumar Mallik, sir. Please. Okay, felicitate. Okay. Felicitate Shubhra Dika. Okay, ठीक है. Gratitude is the expression of respect and appreciation. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Ganeshwar Nayak, sir, respected faculty member of the Department of History, to kindly felicitate our esteemed resource person. Request Shubhra Smita Hasini Didi to kindly come forward. Thank you so much, sir, for honoring our guests. As we approach the conclusion of the seminar, I would like to invite over Mr. Paramjeet Singh, sir, respected faculty member of the Department of History, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, please take the stage.
Thank you, Swati, for giving the mic to me. And respected dais, respected resource person, Basanta Kumar Mallik, sir, that we are privileged to hear about the understanding history and its methods topic. and thank you to resource person Basant sir. Some past was again in my thought when I was a student of Utkal University. जे ମୁଁ ଆଡ଼ମିସନ୍ ପାଇଥିଲି ସେତେବେଳେ ସାର୍ ଥିଲେ ସେଇଠି HOD ଆଣ୍ଡ ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ମୋର ଗୋଡ଼ ସାହସ ଦେଉନଥିଲା ମୋତେ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ। ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିଲି ଆଣ୍ଡ ସାର୍ ମୋତେ କହିଲେ କି କିଛି ଆମ ଭିତରେ ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଥିଲା ୱାର୍ଡ଼ସ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ସାର୍ ମୋତେ କହିଲେ ଏଇଠି ଆସିଛ ଆଡ଼ମିସନ୍ କରିଛ ଭଲ କଥା, ଏଇଠି ଗଣ୍ଡଗୋଳ କରିବନି ତ, କାହିଁକିନା ଏଇଠି ବହୁତ ଗଣ୍ଡଗୋଳ ହେଉଛି। ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସାର୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କେବେ ୟା ଉପରେ କିଛି କମ୍ପ୍ଲେନ୍ ମିଳିବ ନାହିଁ ମୋ ଆଡ଼ୁ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆଇ ୱିଶ୍ ଏଇ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ସାର୍ଙ୍କୁ ମୋ ଆଡ଼ୁ କିଛି କମ୍ପ୍ଲେନ୍ କେବେ ଯାଇନାହିଁ କି ମୁଁ ସେସବୁ ଜିନିଷରେ ମାତିଛି। ଆଣ୍ଡ ଅଗେନ୍ ସାର୍ ସଦାବେଳେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ ଆମକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି କି ସାଇନ୍ସ ଆଉ ଆର୍ଟ୍ସ ଭିତରେ ଦୁଇଟା ହିଁ ରିଲେସନ୍, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ସାଇନ୍ସ ମେ ପ୍ରିପେୟାର ଅସ୍ ଫର୍ ଏ ୱାର୍ but the art teach us a peace. R.J. Collingwood and other historians figure teach us through a rites. But today, sir deliver a talk as visualized us how to make a write a history and understand a history. And sir, your lecture was not an explain historical methods, but also inspire us to critically think questions of sources and the understanding history beyond dates and the events. Your insights bridge theory with the patience, practice made under discipline, came alive for students and the scholars. I sincerely thank for the sharing, sir, your time, knowledge and wisdom with us. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our respected other faculty members and in absence of our coordinator, sir, Santosh Kumar Biswal, sir, and Vice Chancellor and Vinayak sir, he go to their class, and other students who invest their around 2 or 3 hours to listen about the history from our resource person. And finally, I thank the all students and other faculty members for their attentive presence and thoughtful engagement. It truly added value to the today's session. And also the organizer, students and anchoring the Swati and other students who involved that they engage the times to make this seminar grateful. Thank you to all.
With this, we come to the end of today's seminar. Today's session has reminded us that history is not just about the past, but about understanding human experiences, ideas, and changes over time. I extend my sincere gratitude to our respected resource person, honorable faculty members, and all the participants for making this seminar truly informative, meaningful, and successful. Let us continue to explore, question, and understand history with curiosity and critical thinking. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
And one more thing, if I am not correct, sir, rectify me. Sir also guided by the Satish Chandra, directly or indirectly. I know.
Guided?
Satish Chandra. हाँ सर प्लीज
ସତୀଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର
हाँ
କ'ଣ କହିବି?
हाँ सतीश चंद्र विषय କୁହନ୍ତୁ
ସତୀଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର
ସତୀଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ଗାଇଡ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ମାଇଟ୍ ବି କେମିତି ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି ସାର୍ କହିବି
ହଁ ପ୍ରଫେସର ସତୀଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ପ୍ରଫେସର ସତୀଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଇଜ୍ ମାଇ MPhil ସୁପରଭାଇଜର। ପ୍ରଫେସର ମୁଜାଫର ଆଲାମ ଯିଏକି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଚିକାଗୋ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ସେତେବେଳେ JNUରେ ଥିଲେ, ସେ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ମୋର PhD ସୁପରଭାଇଜର। ରୋମିଲା ତାପର, ବିପନ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ରା, ହରବାଂଶ ମୁଖିଆ, ଏମାନେ ସବୁ ଆମର କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଟିଚର। World famous teachers as our teachers, and we could not meet Professor Satish Chandra directly, when we are student MPL students, Professor Satish Chandra को भेटिया को ले तांको अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं कि बोटे पड़े थ्रू आवर डिपार्टमेंट क्लर्क तांको पाखरु तांको जाई कहबो से जाई तांको पाख कहबे ऐसा पिला आपन को भेटिबे से जाई के टाइले कहबे आसे भाई माने दैट वाज दी अन्य सार मान पाखु पैसा जाउथिले सतीश चंद्र टिके से एते हाई फाई ब्यूरो रही से थिले चेयरमैन यूजीसी आसीथिले भाइस चांसलर जेएनयू तांको प्राय देखा आगे भाइस चांसलर तांको नमस्कार करेंगे तेणु हि वाज अ रेस्पेक्टेड पर्सन बिकज जेएनयू को माने फाउंडिंग मेंबर भितर सतीश चंद्र भी जड़े थे सच ए सीनियर पर्सन से मिलते तेणु सतीश चंद्र आ नूरुल हासन प्रोफेसर नूरुल हासन जे गवर्नर थे से मैंने होती नूरुल हासन तांकर कलीग थे अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी सीनियर कलीग थे तेणु से समय पुराना हिस्टोरियन रूलिंग क्लास सहित भल संपर्क था
जर्नाल गोटे आर्टिकल बाहर 3000 शिखुले मोर पास 10-12 बाहरी प्रति आर्टिकल मत 3000 पकड़े जर्नाल ऑफ इंडियन ओशन स्टडीज गोटे आर्टिकल बाहर 3000 टका मत बहुत टका थैंक यू सर।